and Thursday's argument and Friday's stream.
Go for it.
So, yes, we went on a date. Yes, I went up there. But no, not everything was a lie. So locale updates. So if you guys have questions, ask them now. I'm going to be reading them. So locale updates said, Sadie and Lacey, how can we trust y'all now after y'all lied to us? We love this show because we thought it was not scripted slop.
Well, it's still not scripted. It's still not scripted.
CD?
It never was. Go ahead.
CD had zero idea of what I was doing on Thursday, okay? What started off as like me teasing him, the more I thought about it, the angrier I got. So that was absolutely authentic, all right? So that was not scripted, okay? Not to like dog on CD, but I don't think that he could properly act. So I think you guys have seen it before. Like I feel like all of his reactions, you can tell when they're authentic and when they're not, and that's fine. Like I love that trait in some people. Like my mom, she's a terrible actress. Like she just goes, "Oh yeah, that." So I think that's how you can tell like his authenticity in that. If you can't even like trust me, because I understand not being able to trust me, but Didi, 100% authentic reaction there.
Mm-hmm.
What other questions?
No, it makes me sad too because I thought that I was a decent actor. I don't know. I guess I have to rethink ever joining a drama club again.
I think I don't know. I feel like I can tell when you're.
We're back at it again with some LCU content. Hopefully this video isn't longer than it's supposed to be, so let's just kind of get through this. So mostly, let's be very real. I think some people thought it was sort of acting or faking it, where others probably thought it was genuine but with a little bit of acting. I think no matter what you do in the LCU, you're always going to at least occasionally go into the acting because it's a necessary thing, right? I feel like for the LCU drama, or at least faking it, or not even faking it but kind of forcing it, it's just a necessity. Less of like, oh, it's basically a requirement that you can avoid. But I think as each show goes their own different direction, each and one of them do things different than the last that makes it more distinct. I think obviously something like Queen and Live, it's clearly much more, I would say, fake, or at least much more guided, where I think the other shows are a lot more, they're not guided, they're more genuine, but they play into it, right? They kind of overdo it just because it would be funny, even though in reality their real emotions are kicking in. But let's move on.
I really don't like it when things go to waste. It bothers me a lot. So would you like to take these instead, Kaylee?
Oh, you're gonna make me cry. I live in California.
Okay, well, in my defense, I didn't know what was happening anymore. You weren't there. I was really afraid those flowers weren't gonna go to use.
I need to take a walk. I need to take a walk. You're gonna need to. Why don't you tell them about your side of the date right now?
Okay. Well. Hi, chat. How are you?
Here's what I mean, and I think it illustrates my point much more clearly, where they're being genuine, but at the same time that they're not being too serious, right? Obviously she could have just been like, okay, that makes sense, but in reality she's like, you know what, let me take a walk. It's sort of for the comedic stuff, right? I think a lot of the time they lean into more of the comedic stuff because it's much more not interesting would not be the word, but a lot more fun. It's like when I over exaggerate something on my stream, even if I'm being serious, I try to have fun with it, right? Especially with the other people, because sometimes at the tense moment, and even if it's not that tense, try to ease it off with something fun and quirky. Let's move on to Chubby.
Oh, Minty, she started shipping us. I honestly don't give a shit about her feud with Rewind.
So what you doing there, honey? When I rock like that, sweetheart, honey, as you say, I have a back issue.
She was making. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's what she's doing. Because I do that a lot. I do that because I have a back issue, and I do that because I'm in this setup in here without an appropriate chair. And sometimes, just like today, I forget to put my little. I was running in here and forgot to put my cushion.
Right, because our show's at what 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. Yours is at 8 a.m. You have all fucking day to sit on your ass.
So you want me to spin a narrative? Yeah, exactly. You've got all day to lay in bed or whatever it is you do and get ready for your show. You know what I mean? We're running in by the skin of our teeth. And then I rock because I have a back issue. What is it, Tina? Degenerative disc disease? That's part of mine too. I have other issues with it.
So a lot of Chubby was a response to Queen. So I guess Chubby is filling in the spot that Milkers essentially left. Which I don't know how I feel personally, because I feel like what made Milkers work was the, how can I say, Savage herself. I'm not saying A-Mac or Angie can't do it, where on top of just also kind of not undermining Queen, but kind of poking at them, also poking at the other channels. I just feel like what Milkers had, especially with Roxy and Savage, worked for it. But I also, in this situation, now that we look back at it, I think what it was just Gigi acting up, Gigi being the way she is and everything. And I think her being so brand new to the universe, well, not even brand new. I think what it is that she's seen how everybody act, but she herself never actually acted. Like she never properly interacted. She was probably in the chats and everything, which is different when you're actually on panel. And I think there's something that needs to be maybe addressed or spoken. There's a difference when you're in chat versus when you're live. When you're on live, you have more eyes looking at you at all times. But that's just an opinion. Now, besides that, I did not know that he had that much medical problem, which I feel bad for. I genuinely do feel bad for, because I know people who go through that. On top of that, I think this didn't even last that long, their beef. But it is what it is. Let's move on.
I have 3 hours left. All right, we're running out of time.
I was about to say, what the fuck are you talking about? We have plenty of time.
You know what? Actually, no, because usually, going through this shit and telling stories on that, I'm like, holy fuck, I ain't got that much time left. All right, let's continue. Let's continue.
Well, yeah, just over 400 subscribers concurrently at the moment, so...
Tina D calling.
Okay. No, because that seems to me like, if you're not a professional at this, if you're just streaming for fun, that's very different than somebody like me saying that shit about Batgirl or a known personality. He's not. He's a random person. Do you know how many people have? Okay, so the first way I ever went viral, I'm not trying to defend everything because I haven't seen all of it yet. I'm just giving my opinion. Maybe it'll change. But the first time I ever went viral, it was from two of my modeling photos going viral, and everybody was posting all the there were some sexual comments on them. I didn't really care, because that's what happens when you're a public figure. People, and I wasn't at the time, but people comment on you, and it was weird. And you know what? Maybe that's why she's so offended. She's not used to being a public figure yet.
That's
It's really fucking funny, Becky. I've been on the internet. I've been on social media literally as long as I've had access to a fucking like smartphone, okay? Like I would be getting comments when I was a fucking underage like teenager, like a fucking minor, okay? I've had literal like death threats thrown my way and everything. I've witnessed shit in real life that would make you bitches lose your fucking shit, okay? I've been through a lot of fucking shit online and in fucking real life. You can take this and shove it up your 4 fucking ass cheeks, bitch.
Make sure you wear a
Dude.
glove so you don't catch the ass fungus.
What the ever living fuck? I don't think that girl's been a public figure.
Now, regardless of how I feel about those particular works and those particular fields, a lot of them do get a lot of hate, so there's that. Probably much more hate than any other people. Now, obviously, I'm not gonna give my opinion because that's not the point right now, right? Whether or not it's warranted or not is, again, not really the point. But when it's coming to public figures and all that, like, I think it's something we need to look at is the gray stuff, and when does someone become public and when does someone become private, right? Because you can't always play the game of public and private back and forth. You really can't. And at some point you have to come to terms, right? And I feel like if Becky is trying to defend OS Knight Rider because he's not a much bigger, it's like, who cares? Anybody can technically criticize whoever they want, public or private, right? And given the fact that Batgirl was his also happy late birthday, Batgirl, if you ever watch this stuff, I mean, like, if she's been around that long and I've been around as long, probably around the same amount of time. I've been on the internet for at least a good 15. Actually, no, I've been on the internet since the dial-up days, early 2000s. But there was a bit of time, I think a good like 2 or 3 years where I wasn't, but that's not the point. I just see this as okay, Becky.
Being disrespectful as fuck and being just a dumb fuck. Okay, so blah 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 blah. She's going on and on about how special she is for wanting to shave her head because she wanted to copy me to do it and she thinks she could do it better. First of all, this is not better. Listen, everyone has opinions. This is mine. Girl, I used to think you were pretty until I saw you bald. Between that and your attitude, any prettiness you ever had is gone. Shaving your head is the worst.
That's funny coming from her. Yeah.
My attitude, because I don't like bitches like you. Okay, yeah, because I don't have respect for somebody who doesn't even have respect for themselves or like their, supporters or like anybody, not even like the cats that you take care of. Okay, right. Sorry, I'm not an ass kisser, Becky. Sorry, I'm not gonna sweep for every fucking move that you do.
Sterling asked if the bomb can cure a hangover.
Oh my god, it would probably send me like to the hospital.
Yeah, you would definitely go to the hospital. Yeah, don't do that. All right.
Oh my god.
Let's continue this for her dumbass response.
Worst thing you ever did for yourself. And obviously, you never cared about shaving your head because you've been bald before. You didn't have fucking waist-length virgin hair like I did. Maybe if you didn't, your hair wasn't already dead from all the bleaching you did, you'd understand what a sacrifice it was. Maybe if you really, really valued your femininity in terms of how you presented outwardly like I do, maybe then you would care. But obviously, you're the kind of bitch who doesn't care about that sort of thing, which is why nobody cares about the bitch who didn't care about shaving her fucking head, dumbass.
Dude, what the fuck?
Now, let's get into this in the cafe segment. In terms of the hair cutting, mind you, Becky, and they had the clip playing. I can't find it. Well, I did have the clip, but did not, for some weird reason, did not decide to record that. So apparently she should have just said that, oh, when she did her hair, when she had to shave it, she was in a war zone. Reminder, Becky literally did that to herself. She was making as much enemies as she could, right? While being more or less swept for playing a character. Where I think that Batgirl was being more genuine when she cut her hair, and there's obviously a clear difference now that we look at it and everything, and now we have more at least if you were an unknown, or at least you had some type of common sense, that you would know that Becky wasn't playing a character, and that she was always her true self, and we're just witnessing this in real time. Now, obviously, they also mentioned, because Becky mentioned the whole Richie stuff, which, oh boy, isn't that a fun time to be? Isn't that a fun time, right? Mentioning the Richie stuff is a little wild, in my honest opinion. Right? It's we'll get into it when we get into more of the live segment rather than the cafe segment. But all I'm gonna say is, it's not gonna be pretty. It is not gonna be pretty, because I have a feeling that, if depending how things go, this may or may not be something that goes to court. Because obviously, the way she is and the way she's acting, Richie may have a case.
Well, how
I love how you're gonna pull her up like while I'm in the middle of coughing. Like that was crazy.
Yeah.
VTubers are just ugly fat bitches. That is so good.
Hi everyone. Hello.
Dude, this is why I like it.
Wait. Do that intro again.
Okay.
VTubers are just ugly fat bitches.
It was so hard to isolate Zay's voice because you were talking on top of her. But oh my god. Yeah, VTubers are all fat bitches.
Yeah, we were hammered that stream.
I'm not looking at your eyes right now. Move back and forth.
Oh.
I got my shirt. I got my shirt.
When I saw that, I thought I would bring my body pillow. So I have my body pillow ready for you as well.
Please.
Let it. Oh, there you go.
God damn.
That's fucking hilarious.
We're talking hentai? I can talk hentai.
God damn.
Now, when we get into the test segment, they bring up an interesting point about this whole stream. And first thing first, you gotta give them a break. You can tell that they're very tired and out of mind, essentially, because they have been streaming non-stop. I believe they were streaming for 36 hours since then, or before, right? So is it 36 hours? I know it was more than 24 hours. I think they were streaming all the way from Saturday into Sunday, or was it from Sunday into Monday? They were streaming a lot. They were streaming a ridiculous amount of hours, to the point where there was no break or pause. And, then they had to go back to their daily hour, right? Their daily time schedule. So I'm willing to forgive a lot of things throughout this whole stream. But at the same time, when we get into the tests, when they explain it better, yeah, you could kind of tell that Ivixie was just kind of thrown in, and it wasn't really like, you could tell it was sort of this last minute thing, and she really pretty much carried this whole stream. Now, mind you, it's because they were extremely tired, and they were just, you know what, if I was them, yeah, I would be sleeping all day after all of this, right? I would pray to God somebody would come in and carry the show after multiple hours of streaming without really pause or break, because like there's a difference between streaming anywhere between 2 to 4 hours, right? A lot of streamers do 2 to 4 hours, but it's different when you go from 4 to 8 or 8 to 24 hours, right? I've done it at least a few times already, where I'm streaming anywhere between, like, now at least, like, either between, my minimum is usually anywhere like an hour to 2 to now 4 to 6 to even 12 hours. My last stream was almost 12, which may or may not be happening, but we will be having a 12-hour stream some point this week, so expect that to be a thing. I'll try to plan something out. But nevertheless, yeah, I just felt that this whole segment of the stream was kind of weak compared to the interview that Ruby had with I'm still going to cover the Ruby stuff with Ivixie. I've just been very behind with a lot of things, and obviously compared to Tess interview, this is very weak. I mean, like, you could clearly tell that obviously didn't take the whole like all VTubers are fat bitches. So you could tell she didn't take that personal, but you know that Zay said that with malice, or you know, not malice, but she was being honest how she really felt, and you could tell that throughout this, right, that little uncomfortable with how sexualized, but then again, that's kind of part of the course with this kind of stuff, so it is what it is. I just felt that the nerd Ivixie was just very weak. Very weak. Could have been better, and I hope they do bring her back with much more energy, rather than just having her just sit there and just be a regular, like basically a disco hangout call, rather than actually interviewing her and asking her questions. It was essentially just the nerd stuff with Ivixie, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but you haven't really established that connection or that collaboration where you can do something like that. Most people are here to watch her. Most people are gonna watch her for the interview segment, but that didn't happen. And I did forget to mention that Chubby is going to have Savage, I believe, Wednesday. So yeah, that's interesting.
But Keemstar Woman said that needs to be done with nerds.
Wait,
I think you got that. I think you got that too.
Okay.
Did he send it to you? Discord send you to?
Oh, I got you. Let's have a look at this. So
You got that?
what's this now? This is this
Really said about nerds.
Okay.
This weekend.
Let me pull this. Okay. Let's have a look. Plus, they aren't good enough to have the slot they have. They low-key have a test fan base. They'd be fine money-wise in any time slot. Move Nerds been saying it. Their viewers that they have are loyal enough to stay at any time slot. Unpopular opinion, but crazy how Rastov is on Rewind a lot more now that he's on Balls. Every Rewind is like a mashup with Balls and mainly Rewind. Just put Rastov on freaking Rewind, dude. Okay, fair enough. Damn, Brantley's coming in with some fucking crazy fucking takes, dude. What the fuck?
Fire.
That's fucking crazy takes, dude.
I agree. Move them to 3 a.m. they fans are gonna follow them over there anyway. They don't produce good content. They got the same people, so just move them to 3 a.m. and just put somebody else in that time slot. That'd be perfect.
23 super chatted $9.99.
It's not popping off. You know what I'm saying? So.
All right. I gotta announce this comment. Dude, she's not a celebrity. Let it go. No, she may not be a celebrity, but that doesn't matter. Like, she's someone who's taking time out of her day to come onto a show for free. What up, Vixie in the chat, by the way? Welcome. Appreciate having you.
Yeah, I mean, just prepare. Just be more prepared, bro. Be prepared. If you got something big coming on Monday, I'm not doing no 12-hour stream on Sunday and Saturday. I'm gonna prepare. Like when we came up with Vixie and we were a week out, we prepared for that interview. We prepared with the questions. We had the clips. We had things that we wanted to talk about, and we rewatched the episodes and the things that she had back and forth with Becky. We were prepared. We didn't just go, oh, we're gonna do an interview with iVixie because Nerds did an interview with iVixie, and then we just come up here and just fucking just shoot the shit, and it looks bad, bro. It looks bad on us. It looks bad on everybody. You know what I'm saying? So that's it.
Well,
that's all.
It's not that. It's a learning curve. You know what I mean? It's a learning curve and stuff like that. Like not everything's a W. Like we're probably gonna get an L interview at one point in the future. You know, it'll happen. Like no, but you'll get one where someone doesn't someone doesn't open up, or like the content you get doesn't want to be explained. You know, like Keen with Tammy, for example. That could have been a great interview. But that could have been a good interview, but like she was locked up. She didn't want to answer anything. So that made it a bad interview, But I think that's not really her fucking, like their fucking fault. She just didn't want to answer anything. I thought they were going to have Amy as well. Did they get Amy on in the end?
Well, you can't just say that. Live also had King Cobra, and that was a terrible interview too. That King Cobra one was bad because they didn't really know too much about King Cobra. I think Billy had to come on later on to kind of adjust it with, but
from what I learned about Cobra.
I think what Yo Mama is saying to pretty much a good point. Now, for the rest of the stream, they cover other stuff and they had Freshy Fresh on. Good on him. But yeah, if you're just having her on to shoot the shit, it's kind of like, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it's like, well, if you're wanting to interview her, ask her like in-depth question about her model, the progression of her model, who did it, who designed it, what influenced her. And you know, I do agree with Nightmare that you're going to have certain interviews that are going to be crappy, right? Which is true, but it depends, right? Even if it's crappy, you can make a bad interview good, right? You can still save a bad interview. I've been through that myself with job interviews, right? Hell, when I had Ethan Ralph on my channel, it went bad a little bit, but I was able to still save it. Now that was mostly because I had Jeremy on, but I think that's also what matters as well, is having a co-host that can steer the ship, right? Who can steer the ship. And I think that's really, really important. Now, I do think that I think another point is let's talk about the Brantley thing. Yeah, Nerd has a deeply devoted fandom. I think it's probably much more devoted than any other fandom within the LC. Probably much more stronger than, I would say it's stronger than even Becky, where I think Becky had numbers. I think Nerd just had a solid full core of people. So I think there was a clear difference between Nerd's fan and others. You could literally move Nerd at like 2 o'clock and people will still follow him. You can move Nerds at like 5 o'clock and people will follow them, right? They're still strong, and no matter what, they're very consistent. That's the one thing you got to give to Nerds, is that they are very consistent about the content they make, which is either a good thing or a bad thing. I would say that sometimes stagnation is worse than a decline, because at least within a decline, you're trying to do what you can to save it. Stagnation is just stagnation. Take that as it, and I'm not trying to dog on the Nerds, right? I already did that already, but that was really being more critique. But you know, at the same time, they were streaming for a couple hours, and if they had it already planned, what it seems like they did, then don't do multiple long streams back to back at all. Cut it, save it for another day. Or you could have easily moved the interview from a Monday to a Tuesday, and people still would have been more excited. You could have just made a Monday like, hey, we're tired, we've been streaming for multiple hours, but hey, we're gonna just take it easy. Come Tuesday, we're back in action. But didn't. So let's move on.
It's that simple.
But he's saying right now because that could change. Not because of the chick. Not because of the chick. I know.
Right now, it makes him sound that it might be changing soon.
I know. But that's us brain. That's not CD Logic brain. Okay?
Yeah.
CD Logic brain says there could be plans. I don't know. Not that there's plans to make plans. It's just that it is a possibility.
Women are like dinosaurs, dude. If you don't learn how to deal with dinosaurs, they will eat you up.
True.
But if you learn how to deal with dinosaurs, you've seen the Flintstones. That's hella fun.
Hella fun.
Balls was just balls. I don't know what I can tell you. They kind of analyzed the whole thing between CD-ROM and Elise, or Elsie. I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, or if I'm misremembering your name wrong. Spaghettioni. Joe Sapatoni. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. I'm gonna be real with you. I kind of didn't pay attention too much to balls. It's really, I just can't pay attention to balls half the time. And I'm gonna be real with people. I'm very likely to skip balls pretty much altogether. But I'm being too mean when I say that. I'm not saying balls doesn't have his moment or has his fans. It does, but it's just not my thing. Let's move on.
Bill, I'm not going to be able to pay for my electricity. I do have new tires coming up on the vehicle that we have to replace. And unfortunately, guys, that's a $2,000 bill that I was not planning for. So we need to get the support up. We need to get the memberships up. Okay, I'm done.
That was pretty damn good. That was spot on.
Very accurate, yeah.
I'm just going to read some of these out to you. Boogie, if you leave, you're going to be as irrelevant as Becky. I don't fucking know. Seems like I'm pretty fucking relevant. You talk about me more than you talk about Boogie.
Yeah, you're a lolcow, right? So we react to you, we make the money, you don't.
Yeah, I've been relatively sane lately, Becky. So it's kind of hard to,
This is how lolcows work, right? Like, there's way more money covering DSP than what DSP makes. There's way more money covering Jordy, Wings of Redemption, than what Wings himself makes. This is what a lolcow is. You getting it now? We get to make a lot of money off of you.
She will not accept that she's a lolcow, though, so you're in trouble. So
because here's the thing, Becky, your content, not that entertaining, but our commentary reacting to your content, amazing. Like it's chef's kiss. It's like good.
You promote me more now, Keem, than you ever did when I was in the LCU. The fuck?
It's not working. You're not growing. We're growing though. We're doing really fucking good.
I think what Keem said is very true and very accurate. There is more money and there is more views in covering the lolcow than the lolcow themselves. Let's look at Christian as a good example. Christian is a good example because Christian didn't make a lot of money compared to the people who were covering him, right? I mean, there's a long series of documentary on Christian, and that guy is probably making, I think Gino, I think is the guy, the Irish guy's name, who is probably making more money than actually Christian himself. I know Duty was probably making more money than DSP. Duty at one point, I don't know how true it is now, but was making more than what, like $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a month. Breaking Banquet is getting more viewers than any of Jordy's streams most of the time. And I mean, like, on top of that, let's look at Lebrowski, right? In the whole LCU spear orbiters, right? A lot of us, well, not really myself, well, not me included, because I do more commentary, that's my fault, but it is what it is. Like, someone like Lebrowski gets a lot of views. Ruby gets a lot of views. The clip people gets more views than a lot of the time than the actual streams themselves, right? It's just true. And I mean, in the case of LCU covering Becky, they're probably getting more money covering her than they would be covering another lolcow, right? Like Nova Online. Smoking MC, Kiwi Tape, who cover people like Joss Blah, who cover people like Nova, White Bowser, get more views and more money through that. I mean, hell, look at the Dorps, right? I get more views and more support probably than the Dorps themselves. No offense to the Dorps, but that is true. And I think Becky doesn't realize that your relevancy comes from the people that cover you, not from your actual content. Now, I don't think my content is great. I don't think my commentary is the greatest at all. But I would say that I think more people are more likely to come watch me cover you than they actually are to watch you. Now, well, to be fair, my views are low, but if I had more views and had whatever, then I think there's, the opposite would be the case. But again, there's more people that would rather clip or rather have commentary covers a lolcow than actually wants a lolcow. I mean, there's a guy who covers all of Cyrax's stuff, and he probably gets more views than Cyrax himself. There's a guy that covers all of King Cobra. He gets more views than King Cobra. Joe Sabatoni, who does a lot of clipping for the Dorps, gets more views than probably a lot of the Dorp content at this point. It's just the case. I was probably getting quite a bit of good views on my streams, at least for my channel size, when I was doing a lot of the Dorp archive stuff. So what Keem is saying is a lot more true than you think it is.
Your fucking audience that somehow I'm prying into your personal business is fucking wild, Becky.
Yeah.
Again, I get it. They're old ladies. They play bingo and stuff, but they're not that stupid, Becky.
How am I pushing things beyond a breaking point with you? How does any of this concern you? Why do you...
Because I am the sole witness of the agreement. I am the
That easy to
judge.
figure out.
I'm the judge in the case. I was there and got both parties to sign and agree and write out, I will not talk about Richie anymore. I will not talk about Becky anymore. I'm the sole witness judge. I'm the one that crafted the settlement.
Treat me like I'm a possession that you fucking own. I'm not yours. This whole situation, especially now that I don't work for you, has zero fuck all to do with you. Fuck all. You're just inserting yourself to use it for content, and it's disgusting. Just like you did with Drama Alert with the old guy that you fake called a PDF file when he wasn't.
Ugh.
Oh, but now you're going to be even worse. You're going to support somebody who you actually.
That's true. That's true. You know, in 2015, I believe, my Drama Alert team put a bullshit story that this guy was a PDF file that got out of jail and he's streaming on Twitch. All right. I assumed that my team did all the research and everything and knew what they were talking about, and they didn't. It was a completely different guy, and I got canceled, like ridiculously canceled for that, fucking up that story. And people still bring it up to this day. You are. And it was 10 years ago. It was a fucking decade ago, dog. Like, come on.
But isn't it kind of, again, not just every journalist, every YouTuber, we all insert ourselves into the thing we're talking about, right? We should, like, I'm inserted in your story. You're inserted into mine because you're.
For the rest of the stream onward, they bring up the whole essay stuff and they bring up Richie. And they do bring up Wings of Redemption. I'll get that towards the end, right? To bring that up from Becky and what Keem said is 100% true. After they made this whole agreement, Becky kept talking about it here and there, with, I guess at that point, really did break the agreement that they had. And I think because of that, it's sort of really hard to really take anything she says like at face value. You know what I mean? You kind of destroyed it. I mean, she already destroyed all the trust he had before this. Let's not lie about that much. But to continue this long essay stuff and so on and so on. Trust me, when we get into the Becky stuff on her videos, which God save me, God help me, please. It just becomes extremely disheartening to even try to cover, because if she really did, and none of us are there, I mean, in my honest opinion, I don't believe Richie did anything. But even if he did, why wasn't there a report made? Why wasn't there anything to prove any coverage, any documentary? But none of us were there, and I think that is the smart take. That is the better take. Even if we know it's bullshit, sometimes it's better to take that route. Right? We weren't there, so even if you think this didn't happen, we weren't there, and you gotta give Keem props for that one. So to me, it's like, I feel like Becky is going to do something that is so destructive that it's not only it's going to ruin her career, it may potentially ruin a person's life on top of that, right? On top of that, you can say that, well, Keem ruined her life. Well, she did that to herself. But to bring another person down on top of that because of previous stuff, again, none of us were there. And again, there's no police report. There's nothing. And you keep making more and more of this, allegation without providing any proof. It just gets worse. And to me, it's like covering her from here onward is just, it's gonna be tough because, I don't want to be more malice than I have to. But since it's Becky, it's like, well, there's the reason why she's a lolcow. A lot of reasons, actually. Yeah.
Messaged me and talked about it. Said it was fun. So what am I missing? I know Tina's echoing. She's not going to fix it.
Nope.
I don't understand what I'm missing, Tina. What was so bad about the stream?
You don't want to fix it. Why not? I don't know. I'm just telling you what we see. We ended up fighting with you. You fought with Steak. You fought with Twiggy.
You fucking argued. You kept texting Mike. So yeah, it was a shitty night all the way around.
Yeah, because okay, the reason I texted Mike was when Twiggy was in the tent. We could hear you and Albert talking about how jealous I was and what I did on someone else's stream. So yeah, that upset me. It hit me a certain kind of way. But you know what I figured out? You're right.
Nothing bothers you.
It's
Nothing bothers you. You don't care.
It's from you. You're right. You're right. Now it doesn't. I realize that you're two-faced and say one thing to one person and one thing to everybody knows that. We all know that.
You joined Discord of Boxers. Got it. Yeah, we both have our problems, right?
No, yeah, I get it now, and that's why it ended. That's why it ended. Thank you for the W's, you guys. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. And like I said, look, as soon as we get the car fixed,
I don't have to hear her mouth. Please.
What did I do wrong?
Put the headphones in. I want to go and work with people that have fun, and they had a ball that night. They don't need people to pat them on the back and tell them they did great. They just...
No, I think Gizzy's finally understanding, I don't know, her place in the LCU or how things operate within the LCU when it's coming to this and doing her own solo stream. I mean, to be fair, honest, I felt that she did a pretty good job, if you want my opinion. But to ask for like pat on the back, it's a little childish. And I'm not being harsh when I say that. I just see it as you don't have to if you don't need to. And to some people, they could see that as some type of being can't think of the word, sorry for the P, but I think you guys know what I'm talking about. Patriot, not patriot. I can't think of the word. My apologies. But it feels something like that, and I'm just like, you don't need to get everybody's approval. But I think also what it is like, well, she's new to all of this. She is very new. She is not only new to this universe, she is just new to how things operate within the greater LCU stuff. So, like, it's good to see that she's now catching up and realizing everything. That's how I see it, at least, right? That's how I genuinely see things. That she's kind of catching up with everything in the LCU and how things operate. But we gotta move on to Rewind.
And how you guys went out of bounds, that's cool. But I didn't never went out of bounds with that guy. And the fact that he wanted to go out of bounds with me about my woman, I don't take that like you took it. I mean you guys had y'all conversation, but like I said, our
I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
exactly
like we can talk trash about Zay all day long, and then like what he say about his woman? I don't even know. I just know that now he wants to defend his woman, and I guess as a man, that's your right. That's your right.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say. Y'all jumping on S1K's girl all the time. Then you want to say there's boundaries elsewhere. I'm not going to draw the line. I don't know where to draw it. You know, that's Keem's job. Keemstar, if you want to draw the line, go ahead. I have nothing to say here. Leave everybody alone, whether they're on air or not. Don't mess with nobody anymore. Nice people everywhere. Sheesh. Pretty sure I called his wife fat before.
So, this whole Joe Mama thing, I think eventually this has to blow like aggressively hard between Rewind and Yo Mama and Tess. And I think it's been a long time coming. But also on top of that, let me set up my mic more properly. Boom, bada bing, baba booey, baba booey. When it's coming to drawing the line, yeah, I think what Billy said is correct. It is kind of Keemstar's job, but it's also up to the host himself on, all right, well, here's the line. Here's a guideline, or up the line where things could be said and who can be attacked. But it's also the job of the host to kind of also in their own individual show or as an agreement to each other, like an unspoken rule to, okay, well, how far we should go. Because the thing about it is like, well, yeah, it is S1K job to defend Zay. But at the same time, S1K or Zay can't complain if S1K get attacked. Because, well, you're defending her, so you're making yourself a target no matter what. Public or private, you kind of, the bullseye behind your back. In the case of Yo Mama's wife, you can make the case even, but we don't really see Yo Mama's wife coming up there, or his woman, right? We just don't. So it's one of those things where if they come up or they're in chat, are they free game? So you're just at it's sort of this complex level of rules that should it exist in the LCU? I don't know. But does it need to exist? I think at some point it will, because I do think it's going to get to a point where it will become more and more aggressive and more dangerous if there's not a line set up. That's just my honest opinion. Because eventually it is just going to blow up. It is just going to plummet. It is going to just become something worse. But in the end, it's whether or not it's a host job is one thing. It really comes down to Keemstar. And if it is Keemstar's job to do something right, then yeah. But at the Keemstar, it's up to the host to enforce it or to expand upon it. But it's just, you know, an opinion of a crazy frog man, right? That's just an opinion of a crazy frog man. Let's move on to both Ginger and Oz.
Thong sandal emoji. Thong sandal emoji. Thong sandal emoji.
What are we doing?
Thong sandal emoji. Thong sandal emoji. Thong sandal
Wow,
emoji.
that's so compelling. I love listening to the bot talk. Everyone, drop a 1-1 in the live chat if you like it when people abuse the bot and talk over Copper Cab. And keep Copper Cab from talking about the things that he wants to talk about. Drop a 1-1 in the live chat if you like that, if you think it's fun. Drop a 1-1 if you prefer that. Yeah, good. I can't see the chat. If you're one of the morons dropping a 1-1, you're a fucking idiot! Idiot! You're an idiot! You're a fucking idiot! Drop a 2-2-2 if you want to hear what I have to say. Now maybe
here. We're not going anywhere.
Yeah, they're going to eat off the money they made over the weekend, bitch.
Mm-hmm. We got fucking good shit going on, bro. And I know he's trying to get views now. This might be the first time he tried. So, hey, Keemstar, you're welcome. I lit a fire under Copper's ginger fucking fat ass, and maybe now we can get 2 hours out of that piece of shit.
I doubt it.
I still doubt it. I still doubt it, but I'm fucking trying, Keem. I'm trying to trick your stupid retard into doing some work. I'm doing God's work here, bro.
The Lord's.
Dear Jesus,
The
we
Lord's.
pray upon you. Yes.
Also, Tina, I want to go back. I had fun. I'd love to do a ghost, like a ghost hunt in Charleston with you, because I know they have ghost hunts out there. Are you scared of ghosts?
No.
Me either. I'm not scared of ghosts either.
And I didn't know you could sing, Twiggy.
Well, I'm a man of many talents. I'm also a notary.
Guess what? That don't take much. You get on the computer and do that. Everybody can be a notary. Everybody does it.
I'm not a notary.
Yeah, it's easy. It's an easy test. You can marry anybody. Look at Keem. He married Glammy after she was already really legally married. Oh, did I say that? I didn't mean to, Glammy. My bad.
Well, Glammy's no longer with us, rest her soul.
Yes, she is. She's
Besides Ginger being a mess and obviously Steak doing a good job lighting a fire under his ass. Yeah, Ozzy had a really good. Let's be real. I almost donated to Ozzy during their stream. With shout out to Steak and Twiggy for saying my name. They didn't have to, but thank you so much. That means a lot. I will be nice to you, but I think sometimes when you watch these shows, you always find a nugget of information that you did not think you would find. And the fact that Tina said this caught my interest more. You know, whether or not Glammy comes back and whether or not it is true, as Savage says, that her kids are being taken away, I don't know. But watching, I guess watching Tina say things like these in different shows, or watching other hosts drop a little bit of nugget of information that you wouldn't really think about, is always something to keep an eye on. And that's why I kind of like doing this a lot of the time. It's because you always have an eye and your ears at all times. You have your ears on the ground and eyes everywhere. And I think that's a good way to end it. Till next time, ladies and gentlemen. God bless. Till then, bye.